Enjoy the show. Come and listen to Soundtrack TV. We the best in time. Turn up to Soundtrack TV. Turn up to Soundtrack TV. Veronica the boss for Soundtrack TV. She here to give you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Soundtrack TV.
I love to
Soundtrack TV is here. We here to inform.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are from your location, and good morning too, just in case you are in another part of the world. And welcome to Soundtrack TV. And tonight is Wednesday night, as usual, is Inside Liberia, your wonderful program, political, educational, social, intellectual program here on Soundtrack TV. We are back tonight with a wonderful discussion point. And then tonight we are going to be having in studio the president of the Press Union of Liberia as our guest, and also be joined by a guest presenter, Nathan. He's going to be here shortly. Together we're going to discuss the World Press Freedom Day theme for this year, shaping a future with peace. The 3 days event just ended in Kakata City, Makibi County in Liberia. And this theme this year is a global theme for World Press Freedom Day all over the world. Welcome, my name is Vivian Cook. As usual, I am your host, and be right here always. And let me just inform you, Inside Liberia will also be coming on Monday at the same time. So Inside Liberia takes 2 days in a week for now, as the show is growing. So as it grows, we are taking time to come on, and you'll be right there while we are right here discussing together, making impact on. And don't forget, if you are using YouTube, go on YouTube and just type in Soundtrack TV. You will see us right there. And also, if you're on Facebook, use your Facebook page, type in Soundtrack TV. Soundtrack TV is a whole communication network in Liberia, Europe, the USA. So when you watch our shows, you will not regret, because we have presenters all over the world, and you are free to just put in you to be our guest if you want. If you have something to share, you can also join us to share what you want or what you have to share. You are very welcome tonight. I'm very excited, and my guest will be in a few minutes. My co-presenter or guest presenter will also be in a few minutes. We'll take a batch of our song and come right back in a few seconds to take our guests.
Listen and be inspired. Soundtrack TV is here. We the best now in time. Oh, listen and be inspired. Turn up to Soundtrack TV. Turn up to Soundtrack TV. Veronica the boss for Soundtrack TV. She here to give you the best. Come and listen, everybody, to Soundtrack TV. We here to give you the best. Come and listen, enjoy the show. Come and listen to Soundtrack TV. to Central TV. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Central TV. Veronica the boss for Central TV. She here to give you the best.
Okay, we are right back here in our studio very shortly. Our guest will be joining us on the show on here to talk about the World Press Freedom Day. What is it mean? What this topic means for the press in Liberia? When you were talking about shaping a future with peace, what does it mean for Liberian journalists in this critical time? A critical season here in Liberia. We will be discussing the highlights from the just ended World Press Freedom Day celebration held in Kakata City, the challenges and opportunities facing journalists in Liberia, the role of the media in promoting peace, truth, and national development, especially with the many citizen journalists we have in the country now that is out of control, completely out of control. That here we need to know what the president of Liberia is doing to control some of these Facebook bloggers who were here sharing fake news, misinformation, disinformation, character assassination, all of that. What are some of these things that will help shape the peace of Liberia if this year's theme matches our society current situation? We've been following a lot of statements from different backgrounds, different individuals, different political group, and even had former head of state, President Weah, and that of President Boyka, current President Joseph Boyka. These few days in Liberia is called a jobs week, where people will send crosswords or just throw jobs, or we call it hints, throw hints at one another in the country, and we see media people spraying those information as if they are helpful to the growing peace we have in Liberia, and whether it is something that journalists should focus on to make news in the country. So that is it for tonight. Samtra TV here. We are on Inside Liberia, and today's guest is the president of the union, the president of Liberia. He'll be joining us shortly on this show, and at the same time, we will also be joined by a guest presenter, Nathan Biega. He will be joining us also for us to interactively discuss our topic and many other national issues that are currently happening in the country. So don't go away. Come on, share the show, and let's see how. Don't forget, later on we'll post our number to call if you want to participate, and also don't forget to use your Facebook page or your YouTube page to make a comment, say what you want to say, participate through your YouTube page or your Facebook page, and participate also using our phone lines that will be out on the stream for this show tonight. We are set, and all of us just watched just the other day the police and the EPA sent a new memo. Let's just hit that. Sam Collins is supposed to be phoned in to talk about that. Let me see if I can get him on the line to talk about the new memo sent in by the the government of Liberia through the national police, and that of the EPA. EPA and the police said excessive noise is no longer just a nuisance. It is a violation of the law. The Liberia National Police, working with the Environmental Protection Agency, is commencing strict enforcement of noise pollution from bars, outdoor speakers, and religious institutions. Yeah, that's what it says. Respect lawful hours. Keep sound within acceptable limits. Avoid sanctions. It comes out to be violations will be led will lead you to equipment seizure, closure, fines, and possible arrests. So if you violate this peaceful law, they will leave the police and the EP with no option but to seize your equipment, they close your bar or your church or your mosques, because say religious institutions. Um, and then they will fine you. Maybe if you continue to cause unnecessary noise, they will also arrest the person who is involved. It means that a strict law has been put in place to maintain public peace. And because another comment I saw is where your right stops and where it's just where the next person's right begins. So please, 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 please pay attention to the rule of law. Pay attention to the rule of law. Please. If we got it, pay attention to the rule of law. If you are caught, if you are caught, you are going to be held responsible for your own action, or probably you are going to be held liable. Our next presenter is just joining the show, and shortly we will also be joined by our guest. I'm, I'm trying to connect him here at Samtra TV. So let's continue. As I was saying, whatever it is that you are doing, the police says, the British National Police says, you should lower the volume even in your home. Stop playing loud music. Stop playing loud music in your home. You are disturbing other people. Wherever you are, church people, please stop playing loud music in the church. Play it to your audience. People in the bars, people in favorite bars and restaurants, roadside booths who claim to be entertainment center, please play your music to your limit. Tonight we have been joined by our co-presenter or our guest presenter. He's Nathan Biega. Nathan, you are welcome to Samtra TV inside Liberia this and every Wednesday. And starting, let me just announce to you that starting next week, Samtra TV will also be hosting Inside Liberia on Monday. So Monday and Wednesday will be the new show time for Inside Liberia. The same time, 9 p.m. So that's a plus for us. You're welcome. We will be joined shortly by the guest is already going into the studio as per our discussion right now. So you are welcome, Nathan.
Yes, it's a privilege again to be here. It is. You getting me?
Sure.
So it's a privilege again to be here. Basically, again, I'm Nathan as Bianga, and like I said previously, it's a privilege to be here. Central TV is shaping the destinies in terms of information and dissemination in Liberia and the rest of the world. So I'm very humble to be here, and I'm always humble to
Okay, thank you.
serve as
Okay.
yeah. So like I say before we join the president, it's a privilege to be here, and I'm so very grateful for the opportunity. And I hope that we'll have a very fascinating edition of this special program inside Liberia, and then we'll have a fruitful conversation that will benefit our broad audience. So, like I said previously, I'm grateful to be here, and I hope that we achieve our ultimate goals.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have the president of the Press Union of Liberia, Mr. Julius Kanua, right here in studio with us. Welcome, Honorable President. You're welcome. This is Samtra TV, and we are glad to have you on tonight to talk about the just in a WordPress Freedom Day, especially with that wonderful team shaping the future with peace. You are the floor is yours to go ahead and introduce yourself to the larger audience. Prezo, the floor is open to you.
Yes, I sorry that I was in another call and then home, but I hope you can get me clearly, and I hope
Sure.
the vision is okay for you.
Yes, yes, it's okay.
Okay, thanks ever so much. It's nice to join you at this particular time.
Okay, Prezo, you are welcome. Okay, we want to go straight in to the program. We just witnessed. I was on my way. Every day I was on my way. I told people, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I couldn't reach because of the busy schedule I had this week. I couldn't attend the program. Let me apologize for that. But that's one of the main reasons why we would like to have you here tonight. And thank you for accepting our invitation. We have a growing platform. It's called Samtra Network. And on Samtra TV is our platform on YouTube and Facebook. And so we've been around for like 7 months now, and I think we are doing our best. The last time I was at the office trying to prepare ourselves for registration. So we're going to complete that very soon. And then you will know that Samja TV is part of the Press Union of Liberia. Welcome ever so much, and thank you for accepting our invitation once more. We want to talk about the what does this mean for Liberian journalists in this team shaping a future with peace? How do you view it? What does it mean for Liberian journalists? And how was the program in Kakata using this team? I saw a lot of dignitaries put up there, and I witnessed most of their speeches. Uh, and I know that people had a very wonderful time. Can you give us an overview of what took place in Kakata?
Well, again, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to form part of your important platform. I'm so excited that you say your platform is growing, which is very good in terms of journalism, especially reaching out to different audiences, reaching out to different people. So yes, the World Press Freedom Day was a success in terms of the celebration in Kakata, Mangibi County. Like you rightly said, we had some important people attending this particular occasion. The resident representative of the Nations Development Program in Liberia, Ambassador Aliu Mamadou Dia, was the keynote speaker. We had some representations from the Ministry of Information, the acting minister, Johnny Takpa, as well as the deputy minister for public affairs, Daniel Sando. We also had the press secretary to the president, Kula Fofana. We had uh, a panel in the conversation, and that panel had important people who contributed to a specific topic, like you registered in the shaping the world at peace, promoting press freedom for human rights, security, and development. On the panel, where Elias Shonayin, he's a former foreign minister of Liberia. We had Tom Winston Mumbo. I think you and Tom, yeah, you know Tom Winston Mumbo very well. He's a veteran Liberian journalist and a former Secretary General of the Press Union of Liberia. We also had the former president of the PUL, Ibrahim Masaleh, who was the leader of the PUL in the 1990s. In fact, it was his administration that purchased the land on 14th Street for the PUL. We had Miss Caroline Bois. She is a media, she is a human rights civil society activist. She has worked in Liberia on women's rights, and we we were very fortunate to have other dignitaries at this particular program, like the superintendent of Maikibi, the mayor of Maikibi, and the last panelist, was the deputy director general for administration at the Liberia Broadcasting System, Kadiatu Buhari. So it was a very good program. The only negative for the program the first day, it was the hall. The city hall was not too decent for us because the electricity kept going. So it was a big embarrassment for all of us. But again, I mean, you can't rule that out in program planning or execution because this is Liberia. You expect, the LEC to go
Sure.
off. Yeah, so besides that, yeah, journalists were there in their numbers. We congratulate and thank all of our colleagues who show up at the program. We know that many of you did not come because of the distance and because of other engagements. Yeah, but it was good that we all collectively celebrated World Press Freedom Day, whether from our homes, whether from our media entities, or whatsoever we were. So the team shaping award or future at peace, promoting press freedom for human rights and security is a team that was developed by UNESCO. UNESCO is the UN organization that organizes the global celebration of World Press Freedom Day. And as you know, this year's World Press Freedom Day, the global conference took place in Lusaka, Zambia,
Mm.
because Zambia is going to elections, and Zambia has been at the forefront of some developments relating to press freedom. So the UN body and other partners thought to organize uh, this event in in Zambia. So in Liberia, we adopted the global team, but also adapted it to our context. Call it short to say advancing press freedom for human rights and development. So the presentation by the UN representative or our selection of the UN representative was critical, especially Liberia is a developing country and the UN is helping us to develop. And it was a good occasion. I mean, the speeches were very to the point in terms of the essence of press freedom. And like many other speakers, they say press freedom is very essential to all of the freedoms that we all enjoy. I mean, when we talk about freedom, we are looking at human rights as a whole. So yes,
Mm.
the president is pleased that this year we celebrated press freedom outside of Montserrado County. We took over in October 2024 after a period of paralysis. And then we organized the first World Press Freedom Day administration, under our administration last year in May. And that was held in Monrovia. And this year we took it to Kakata, Magibi County. And we are very grateful. Our colleagues came from across the country, from Bapolu, Bomi, Cape Mount, Montserrado, Grand Bassa, Bong, Nimba. We had people from Maryland, as far as Maryland, who came to participate in the celebrations of World Press Freedom Day.
Wow. Wow, that was a wonderful celebration. I saw the pictures in the various chat rooms, but one of the things that I noticed that I didn't see much stories coming out from all those wonderful speeches by our fellow journalists to share. This morning I've been reading from one newspaper to another. Only few were able to carry some stories about a WordPress freedom day. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, maybe the people they are getting access to because I mean, for example, the analysts. I mean, they requested us to share with them the speeches that we made, and we share the cover. I think the version of the analyst on the 5th of May just featured the whole World Press Freedom Day
Yes,
celebration.
I
I've
saw
seen
the
other publications,
analysis. Mhm.
Inquirer Today publications on the Daily Observer. Front Page Africa has been one of the leading publications in Liberia. Yeah, for us, once you have, I mean, for example, the Oracle, the different online platforms,
Mhm.
right? Where yeah, we'll do some analysis. But again, what journalists are celebrating, sometimes yes, you want to celebrate first.
Yeah,
You want to be in the prize before you get
mm,
anything about doing a story. But yes,
I know,
we
right?
thank our colleagues, yeah, who are working. In fact, the second day we had a media security dialogue with the Liberia National Police. We had the hierarchy of the police. We thank
Mm.
the Inspector General Gregory Coleman, who came at the program, the Deputy Inspector General Nelson Freeman was also there, and then the other police and the officials. All of them they came, but the unfortunate part because people enjoy themselves on the day of World Press Freedom Day. The next day to wake up from bed was difficult for some people. Some people too had to return to Monrovia because they came there on Sunday. Many of us arrived on Sunday. We slept. I mean, we had our social night, and then Monday the celebration. So people got fatigue. I know as
I
a result,
know.
the attendance we should say for the World Press Freedom Day was huge, but the attendance for the media security dialogue was not huge. It was later that some people started to wake up from bed to come. So yeah, these are some of the challenges of organizing program, but we'll learn from some of these things as to how to proceed with future World Press Freedom Day in those celebrations.
Sure. Thank you, but thank you so much. I witnessed part of the dialogue. It was good. And I appreciate the fact that the police attended the program and they can come together with journalists to talk about the press and its freedom and at least promote our work that we do in the country because it's been a long time. Everybody can say the police and the press are friends. It just proves to us that we have a growing relationship with the Liberia National Police. And thank you for that initiative, that part of the program, Breaking the Police, to have a special session in that. But one of the things I want to know, what do you think about this team in terms of our current situation in Liberia? And the way the media is running with things. I want to say some of the things they're running with, some of the not necessary things, and even major issue. Some of the issues that are pushing so hard and running around with that may cause harm to the peace that we enjoy today in Liberia. What do you make of this thing, and what did you say? Was your message to them?
Well, we deliver a message on the state of press freedom in Liberia. We did strike the point that press freedom, in terms of freedom of speech and expression, is under stress in Liberia, or it's under pressure as a result of certain actions that are being taken in the country by state actors. We also elaborated the different incidents or cases that we were able to advocate in terms of attacks, assaults, insults, bullying, harassment, intimidation of journalists in Liberia. We mentioned the case of the Daily Observer and the Liberia National Police, the Liberia National Police and some journalists in Grand Bassa, the case of Moses Gatibu and the Liberia National Police, the issue of magisterial courts arresting and detaining journalists on the basis of contempt of court or criminal coercion, criminal libel. We mentioned those cases. For example, from Maryland, from Riverside County, the case of Opado and Methuselah Gay. We spoke about the situation in Bombay County that was involving, I mean, that involved two journalists uh, were arrested by the court on some sort of a very serious, charges. We also spoke about the issue of Jenny Kemoka, a female journalist who reports for ELBC, from Grand Cape County. She was following teenage pregnancy in school or pregnancy in school, and people tried to bully her that her statistical analysis was inaccurate. And yeah, we also mentioned the situation of journalism and the country devil. We had two instances between January of last year and May of this year where
Mm.
journalists were seized and by people believed to be members of the poorer society. In fact, the situation in Magibi was interesting because it was Magibi, this celebration was being held. And four journalists were taken by the devil. As we normally say the devil swallowed them, right? And
Wow.
out of the four journalists, we're fortunate. One is a member, but the other guys, they spent some days, with the poorer members, and they came back. Interestingly, when the president tried to establish the facts or the circumstances as to what led to their, seizure by the country devil, they said, "Well, President, thanks for your interest, but what happened in the bush and the traditionally cannot be revealed. If the president is
Oh
interested
wow.
in knowing what happened in the bush, the president should join them." I mean, so so this is the yeah,
That's a full
we
society,
had a
a full
similar.
society.
Yeah, they say what happened in the bush cannot be revealed with the president of the
Yeah.
president of Liberia, right? But the issue of the devil of poor members, taking people against their will is something fundamentally wrong. That we are very clear. We have to work with the Ministry of local government to ensure that we
Mm.
inform our traditional leaders, our elders. That yes, in as much we respect traditions, in as much we believe in a power institution, do it voluntarily, right? Because we had a similar case in Nimba County where a journalist, Alex Yomi, who was on air. I mean, he had read a directive by the Ministry of Internal Affairs at the time, but it is now local government that
Mm.
the poorer and the sandy societies should not operate, especially in each doing recruitment during schooling period because it was embarrassing for some of the students who have been taken. And the poorer and the members got angry in Himba County. They seized the journalist to go and initiate him. But luckily in Nimba, I think they have strong traditions that if somebody does not want to enter into the bush, you
Okay.
cannot compel the person to do it. So that case was taken to court. It was with the police. And at a certain stage, the journalist asked the president to stay away from the case or to stay clear of the case. He said because he was going to handle it himself. And Vivian, you know in Liberia, once you're an adult and if people are helping you to prosecute or to find an alternative dispute resolution pathway, and you tell them, no, no,
Mm.
no, do not interfere in my case or do not get involved, we can't force ourselves on
True.
anybody. So this decision by journalist Alex Yomi, we allow him to go ahead, but I'm told in the end there was some form of yeah reconciliation between him and the members of the poor institution that sees him. We've
Oh
had
wow.
different instances. Yeah, we just struck the point that in Liberia, yes, there can be no rescue without freedom, which is very, very critical. We gave a position statement of the president of Liberia on the 22nd of April, in which we spoke of the
Mm.
gradual erosion of democratic norms within Liberia, particularly freedom of speech and expression. We mentioned different instances of the violations of the rule of law by actors in the government, whether in the executive, in the legislature. So the Ministry of Information took exception to our statement. They branded the union as a political movement, that we are opposition, that the union has taken money from politicians to issue statement, and that us who fought to be president of the president were mortgaging the union, throwing the union in the mud. But those are all words that have been thrown before at the PUL. And like we said to the ministry, you must treat the PUL with respect. People who know us, people who believe in us, I'm not too sure they voted for us as a result of us pledging to be in the bribe takers or issuing statements for politicians. We don't. We don't do that at PUL. We are convicted about what we do and to advance the rights of journalists, to advance the processes of free speech and expression in the country. And Vivian, Article 15 of the Constitution, if you really critically examine that article of our Constitution, it says that every Liberian has got a right. It's a fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression, being responsible for the abuse thereof. If, for example, I abuse my freedom of speech or expression, right, no other mechanism in Liberia can curtail that right except through a due process. And due process is through the court. Only the court can stop me from talking, or only the court can tell me, say, that what you said is not in keeping with your responsibility as a journalist or as a citizen. And this issue of people curtailing the rights of others in terms of freedom of speech and expression is unconstitutional, and everyone knows. But sometimes we say, oh, it is not in our case, or it is not in the case of people that we support. But what happens when they pick you up, or when you are picked up, Vivian? Tomorrow, yeah, Nathan is picked up. Another day, another person is picked up. So if everyone keeps in silence, what will happen? One day they will come for you too. So we have to be clear that no Liberian citizen should be arrested, detained, expelled, ostracized, or punished as a result of that Liberian citizen expressing themselves. If you want to curtail any Liberian citizen's right to freedom of expression, do it through the court. Due process should be done. And due process is there should be a complaint. Yeah, I mean, the parties or the party that is complained must be informed of the complaint. That party must come and face their accuser, and the accuser must be able to provide evidence, and then the judge should be able to hear the matter impartially with a ruling. That's due process. But these sort of arbitrary actions that are being taken in the government cycle is very problematic. So we extract the point also in our speech that there can be no press freedom when journalists are living in poverty. Wages in Liberia are very low. The issue of, of, of getting money in the media sector is also very difficult. The media economy is something that is very poor. Yeah, so we need now to bring back the conversations about the collective bargaining agreement, about the welfare of journalists, the safety of journalists, to ensure, yes, that we have a stronger media within the country. We thank all of you who continue to practice journalism with professionalism, which is very, very critical or essential to the development of Liberia. And by social responsibility, I mean by responsibility in the Constitution of Liberia, when they say freedom of speech and expression, on the side of journalism, it's about adhering to ethical standards, adhering to ethical principles. All of us have gone to different journalism training programs, different journalism educational facilities, we've got degrees, right? When we talk about ethical principles, we're talking about impartiality, fairness in reporting, balance, accuracy. We should be responsible. Always verify information. One thing about journalism is that it is one of the only professions that you are paid to tell the truth, nothing else but the truth. And the essence of
But the truth,
journalism is verification, right? The essence is truth telling. I mean, you can be a journalist and you say you want to be breaking news always when the breaking news is not accurate. Yes, so the president will from time to time comment on these issues, will from time to time engage in capacity building. We are lucky that international partners are now returning to the president. They're making references to the president. Just yesterday, the same forum that you're having, the UNESCO internationally, they put the president on the panel to do a presentation about the state of press freedom in Liberia. So most of the things I've said to you were said, to the UNESCO, participants in the conference from West Africa and the Sahel. And it's very critical because if we sit here and say, oh, because this government came on the mantra of rescue and that we all have been rescued, but while people have been silenced, I mean, that is problematic. We cannot keep our silence. So yes, from time to time, the president will comment on issues within society because the president has got a moral standing. It is a moral compass of society, that voice of the voiceless, a moral consciousness we have to be spoken always at the press. No matter how you bring us as divisionalists, as this, as that. Yeah, we are here to help the PUL and to help society to govern. And like we said, President Walker and the Unity Party administration, uh, they must govern with the media. They cannot govern without the media. It is the media that is there to expand and amplify messages of peace, messages of development, messages of human rights. And this year, teams of World Press Freedom Day, I mean, it's very, very salient to Liberia. I mean, look at the situation between Liberia and Guinea, the dispute over Ebola land. How can we
Mhm.
work with the media to ensure citizens are informed, to ensure that there's not a large scale outbreak or conflict between Liberia and Guinea? Because Liberia came from a very difficult past. Just today, as we saw, the Office for the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court presented the draft legislation toward the establishment of a war and economic crimes court. And the crisis in Liberia between 1979 up to 2005, and there was a spillover in Guinea, in Ivory Coast, and also in Sierra Leone. So when these sort of things are happening gradually, and we are celebrating World Press Freedom Day, the issue of peace is very salient, the issue of human rights very salient, and the issue of development very relevant. So yeah, the global theme of World Press Freedom Day is something that is in relation to practices of governance within Liberia. So we were happy that a UNDP resident representative, he outlined different areas to which press freedom should be supported. And also, I mean, the panelists, I mean, they presented some of the best ideas. So between now and a week, we will from time to time, analyze their statements and release some information on it. Like you said, it is incumbent upon all of us who are journalists to report on these events that took place in Kakata in relation to the celebrations of World Press Freedom Day.
Okay, thank you very much for that lengthy discussion. Nathan, you want to say something before I come in? Because I also read the statement that the PL put out some 1 or 2 weeks ago. And thank God you mentioned it. I wanted to ask a few questions on that. But later, you want to say something, you ask the president. You have the president
Yeah,
right here with you, sharing the studio with you. You want to ask
yeah,
him
yeah,
or
sure,
make a
sure,
comment?
sure,
Go ahead.
sure, sure. So, Julius, I like to call him Big Brother because he's my big brother. We have met several times and we have interaction. But basically, you know, in Liberia, I like to say this for free because coming up from the high school days, I practiced journalism, and this is where I found myself in. You know, as a Liberia as a post-war country, it has been so difficult for us Liberians, especially the young people, to really practice the ethical journalism. So, just to buttress to what Judas have said, you know, many a times, if we have, my only disappointment I have, everybody want to do journalism, but they don't want to follow the standard. That's my only disappointment, and it makes it so difficult for the PEL. Many a time people run with stories. If you have try to ask them, do you have a fast funny on this, and then people will have to complain to the PEL. So I think the PEL has more work to be done. Just I think 2 weeks ago, a guy from the Ministry of Lands and Mass, he has a story purported it on the internet, and then he sued the guy who published the information from I think Base TV Online. Apparently, the president is aware of that. A TV is online called Base TV Online, and then when you sue the guy, they came begging. I think I intercepted that situation, and then they said, "Oh, they just an online TV. They don't have this other stuff." So I think the media will have to be control. It's a recommendation to the Big Brother Julius. It's a recommendation. We will have to control the media because nowadays we have a lot of platform. People are purporting themselves to be journalists in this country. And one thing I don't joke with the media. I don't rather joke with the media because it is where you get your daily information from. The media is a watchdog society. We are there to checkmate national government, even the private sector. So our space is very big. The media space is very big in any given situations. The media space is very big. Yeah, I think that they never. Back then, when we were practicing journalism, they get something like simple as ABC in journalism. The accuracy, the balancing, and clarity. But nowadays, people run with story accuracy, no balancing, no clarity. What you bring in, once you pay $5, $10, people run with it. So the issue of ABC in journalism, they have been forgotten. So I think the UN resident coordinator for Liberia, I was very excited when I saw him there. Liberia have this World Bank project that's coming up that worth $50 million in terms of the I call it Liberia and the Water Project, the West Africa Regional Coordinating Project. I think Brother Julius is aware of that. So these are things that we have to put our eyes to. So journalism in Liberia, I think it had to be practiced in an ethical way.
Okay,
Once you
it's
have the
nice.
tune for journalism,
It's
once you
nice.
can read one or two statements or one or two articles, it doesn't mean that you're a journalist. It doesn't mean that you have to go through the training. For me, I went to the Peter Cook School of Journalism. With one of my articles I have written on social media, I went to the Peter Cook School of Journalism. You have to learn certain ethical things. You should learn how to be a balanced journalist. Writing your article, it should come with clarity. So, in as much that we are the watchdog for the society, I believe that journalism has to do with your own character. Because to be honest with you, once you publish a story one or two times, people doesn't have clarity on it and it's not in balance. Trust me, people don't want to follow your platform. They don't want to follow you and other stuff. And moreover, it's a recommendation to the PEL. I wish I was a member of the PEL. So though the past leadership, we were there from high school day, we were there, but it's a recommendation. Sometimes I always call Vast from ELBC. I told her, I said, talk to the people. Everybody that works with the president of Liberia, even when you report it from Mika, when you get story, try to balance the information. If not, let the PEL stay on them because they're trying to spoil our image. There's a legacy that have been built long immemorial, long time before even the coming of most of them. So at times we are panicked. We are very panicked. So I think
Okay.
they try
Uh,
to mess the whole team, and I'm very grateful to the PEL for such a leadership role that they are playing in this country to ensure that we have the president of Liberia being revamped. Because to be honest with you, I attended the last program they have on the anniversary, and I think they're trying to get a head office. I'm very grateful for the instrumentality of the big brother as a president now. First in the history of Liberia, that period discussing about headquarters. It is very, very difficult, but I know through his leadership we'll achieve that. And it is a milestone achievement for all of us. So I think government should not see the PEL as apart from being watchdog as a political movement. No, the PEL is not a political movement. We are there to support the country agenda. We are not biased. There's no biasity in anything we do. The fact of the matter is that we are watchdog. Our country comes first. And I think it is a default to every government, not this government alone, but government to come and predecessor government. It is a default to them. It's a serious embarrassment that you will have a political or press prisoner only because they are writing certain story against you. Then you see a bit like, yes, this person is against you. And one thing before I close, one thing, uh, it is now a card here, but it's an advice to every government that come into power that the biosity have been like once the person promote you in terms of your work, in terms of your achievement, in terms of your agenda, then they make that institution your most favorite institution. They want to do business with you, people who promote them. Nowadays, there are a lot of institutions that are being criticized. And I will say this, like today, you got other radio stations around and say, oh, the station is a government institution. And I don't think that it is the work of the president of Liberia. I don't think it should be the institution or people who representing the president of Liberia say, oh yes, this institution is pro-government, is anti-government. That's not journalism. That's not journalism.
Thank you.
So I hope that they are
Thank you.
listening to us. Yes.
Thank you very much. Before the president comes back, let me tell you, the work you're doing now, you, Nathan, you should be a member of the president of Liberia. So as you are doing a recommendation to the president for these online platforms, I'm also recommending the president to find you for not registering as a full member or
No, I've been
associate
there. He
member,
knows that. I've
and
been
then
there.
I
The
see
people
that
that
you
he
be
knows that.
willing.
I've been there.
So you need to go through the process.
I've been there.
Yes,
I've
so
been there.
Mr. President, you listen to Nathan talking about these online platforms. That's one of the issues too I wanted to bring to your attention. And then most of them, when they get hyped in some riot or stuff, they want to blame politicians or blame the government. And most of them, like he's saying, are not registered with the press union of Liberia. How do you control those kind of people, or you just allow them to operate because they say it's freedom of speech? So any Liberian can just go online and just write a name and say it's online TV and start to do their own thing in the country without any recognition with the PA or any regulation for them.
Question. The first thing is
Are you
that
there, person?
yes, I said thank you for the points and the question. Right. The first thing is that we need to distinguish professional journalists from amateurs or from people who are citizen journalists. Right. The mistake we do make in Liberia is that anyone we see with a camera or with a phone, we do say this person is a journalist. No, it's not true. Right. Um, the journalism profession is not a profession that is licensed. You can only accredit it and you cannot police because Article 15 of our constitution gives anyone the right to exercise their press freedom or to exercise their freedom. Right. Another point is that, yes, it's true that we've been promoting the membership of the PUL because the PUL is the only professional body that regulates the media sector of our country. Professional body, the independent professional body that governs the media sector. So if you're not registered with the PUL, most likely you are not considered as a professional media entity, right? But it does not mean that the information you are giving is not accurate or it is not worthy, right? It is. I mean, so yes, it's a concern that some people can take the telephone, they open Julius Carnival TV online, this person TV online, without them being, properly schooled or properly experienced journalists. So yes, the press union will from time to time help. We took over in 2024, Vivian. We received about close to 30 cases relating to alleged violations of ethics for journalists. Like you mentioned, there were cases involving the one deputy minister, the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and the Ministry of Mines and Energy. Guess what? We invited the ministry. We invited, the complainants and the person who he complained against or those persons that they all came. In the end, the president through the National Media Council, the ethical body responsible to investigate, alleged breaches of journalism code of ethics, they found those journalists were, found to be people who publish the stories that were grossly inaccurate. So the Media Council will come up with the finding, right? So the press is not just sitting. We are working. We will make sure that we do all we can to help the govern the media sector. But freedom of speech and expression, freedom of the press cannot be curtailed or cannot be um, put on hold because this person is not considered a professional journalist. Professional journalists are people who are accredited, they belong in an institution, they practice with the core ethics as their guardians, like you already stated. So, yes, we from time to time comment on it. There are people who are practicing journalism, they are not members of the PEO, but they are also people who respect ethical norms. So they become also professional. So from time to time, we will monitor the situation. We will help to build capacity. What has also happened is that the emergence of social media has changed, has transformed the way we communicate, the way how we broadcast, the way we do things, right? The way how we do things. So it's important for for us as citizens to always be careful not to judge. take anyone to be a journalist, but know that there are journalists who are practicing with professionalism. And Vivian, when you look at those who are the bad apples, so to speak, in the media, and you look at those who are the good apples, there are many people who are good apples. I mean, you have major publications, major platforms within Liberia. People are exercising their freedom of speech and expression with professionalism, press freedom with
Mm-hmm.
professionalism. I mean, you can name the major publications in Liberia, like Front Page. You not tell me Front Page is every day providing misleading information or Daily Observer or Inquirer, the Oracle, right? Yes, I mean, there are instances where people do complain about their reporting, but these instances are not as, overwhelming as the good practices of these media entities. On the issue of some broadcast entities, we have to be clear, right? If you do a political economy analysis of the media in Liberia, you will find out that most, or a significant chunk of the media entities that are in the broadcast sector are owned by politicians. And these politicians are the one operating these radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
What they do, they hire propagandists, they hire some journalists who they turn into propagandists, and then they start to spew all sorts of messages out there, right? And I mean, that's unless you, as an individual citizen, or as a private person, or as a journalist, you complain another journalist. I mean, the press union is almost operating like the court system. Unless you have a case, right? Before the union file, where we
Mm-hmm.
don't have a system where we will monitor the work of Vivian. Vivian get her platform, right? So if Vivian abuses the freedom of speech, allegedly, you as a private person who has monitored that publication by Vivian, you will have to file a complaint because I mean we have over 200 radio stations operating in this country. We have more than 50 newspapers that are coming out and on a weekly or monthly basis. So the press union does not have the machinery to listen to Radio Kegema that is way in Nimba, or to listen to Voice of Plibo that is way in Maryland, right? Or to even listen to Radio Tamateko that is way in Lofa. So it's difficult. So unless you file a complaint, right? And the complaint, yeah, no matter how much the process, you know, will be slow, so to speak, because when we took over, the UN was dysfunctional. We made a national media council that was not functional. We had to reconstitute and reactivate the council. So that council, like I said, has been looking into cases. We found journalists to be in violation of ethics. Some of them are at the Ministry of Mines and Energy. There's a deputy minister there, I think William Haynes, who complained. The
Yeah,
case was looked into. He filed about, I think, 3 to 4 cases. They were behind
I think
us since October of
Deputy Minister of Operations. I followed that case before.
yeah, since October last year when he filed a complaint. Luckily, when we reactivated the council, we got the council members and got to almost all of them to ask you, are you still interested in this case? Do you want the president to do an investigation? They said yes. So Minister Williams came to the PUL along with our colleague Richard Manuba, who is the director of communications at the Ministry of Mines and Energy, and he presented his case. He accused his accusers or the journalists who were accused of reporting inaccurately. They listened to him, they listened to the case, and they all admitted that they were wrong, that they were inaccurate in their reporting. So, like I said, the president will issue or release or will release the findings from those investigations. We had the issue of, for instance, Representative Priscilla Cooper from the Painesville Belt, right? Some journalists, especially a publication, a media entity, a print media entity, when the situation of at the Capitol building was unfolding involving the former speaker. For example, there was a publication that took all the females who signed a resolution, named them as female bribe takers, right? So Priscilla filed her complaint, if I'm not mistaken, either in 2024 or in 2025. We kept telling them that yes, you have to wait, give us a chance because this is a totally new administration, and unless we have the structures in place, we'll be arbitrary in our action. So they all waited. And luckily, she brought her lawyer. Her lawyer came to represent her at the hearing. And the facts were presented. The both key parties explained. In the end, The newspaper agreed that they were in error. So the press union has been working. We are doing everything behind the scene, and we will public on these things at the appropriate time. Like I said, we received 27 cases, right, since we took over. There are other cases, yes, involving journalists and journalists. Those cases were handled, like the situation of Jeremy Pia and Franklin Dulokui, where right, where there was an arrangement that the interview tape, audio tape, not video recording, and later on the journalist took up his phone to start to record, and some negative reaction by the minister, and he sees the journalist's phone, deleted the photo. So a special ask committee was put in place, and the media and civil society, independent committee chaired by veteran journalist Thomas Slunter. Guess what? The committee found that the journalist was in breach of journalistic protocol, because when you agree to conduct an interview through straightforward means, you must comply with that. But the action by the minister to seize the phone of the journalist, right, was also a violation of press freedom. So in the end, the both of them were found to be in breach of press freedom and the core ethics of journalism. So yes, from time to time, the press union would take a position on these issues, right? The issue of us as a union trying to distinguish unprofessionals and professionals, we've always said it. And what we also want to do is that the public has been complaining about certain media entities in the broadcast sector, and certain journalists or people who are working as journalists or working at these radio stations as media practitioners. They are involved in the use of abusive language. Abusive language in Liberia is within the penal code. There is a provision. I hope I am correct, but I'm sure I'm correct. 17.3 of the Penal Law of 1978. In that penal law, it provides that you, as a Liberian citizen, whenever somebody uses abusive language on you, right, on your person, you have a right to seek recourse through the law, right, which is very essential. But some people do not utilize that particular provision. If Julius Canova sits on a social media platform, which of course is a media, and he insults another person, people should not just look at the PUL. You can use the rule of law, go there, right? Charge the person for using abusive language. It's in the law. Councillor Tiawan Gongolo has repeatedly made reference to that abusive language clause because he said the Kamara Abdullah Act of Press Freedom, it only decriminalized 3 anti-free speech offenses. 1, criminal malevolence. 2, criminal libel against the president, and sedition. So if, for example, somebody is playing loud music in your community, you can use that public nuisance law, where section 17.3 is also there. I think we've been hearing the EPA saying environmental pollution. They use a loud sound, because you're polluting the environment, disturbing people's ears, right? So that is the law that abusive language is honored. And when we spoke at the House of Representatives on this proposed and the bill or the proposed legislation by Representative Jan Flomo to amend the Kamara Abdullah Act of Press Freedom, we told the House committees on judiciary, information, broadcasting, culture, and tourism that you don't need to repeal the KAK Act. It is not because of the KAK Act that people are abusing. No, it is because of the conduct of those people, right? The KAK Act does not does not call on anyone to insult. So if you want to amend this law to recriminalize or to penalize freedom of speech and expression, then it will send a chilling effect, globally, right? So that is the case. And we have asked them that you use section 17.3 of the Penal Law of Liberia of 1978, you prosecute people. If I am found to have insulted another person and that person feels strongly that I've insulted them, you go to court and they will charge the person for what is referred to as disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct. So yes, people who are practicing journalism, not being a member of the PUL, well, it is not binding, and that we are very open. But the best thing to do as a person practicing in a profession, you should do all you can to register with the PUL. Because the PUL covered it. Vivian, let me mention this case. In Bomi County, 2 journalists were taken to court because one magisterial court in another direction issue an arrest warrant for four persons in the community. And these journalists, they live in the same community, they know those four persons. So guess what? They use a court document, the arrest warrant, and they went on the Facebook page of one of the persons who the court order arrested. The same way we are appearing here, my face is there. They took the picture and put the picture on the name, right, to match to say, oh yeah, this person has been ordered arrested by the court for violations, the person will appear in court. The person got angry and said, why is it you went on my personal
Wow.
social media Facebook page and you took my picture and published the story? It means that you cause psychological harm. You violated my privacy. You are engaged in criminal libel. So they went to another court. Rather than the court that ordered the arrest, they went to another court, right? So when they went there, they brought a case before us. So we told them that there's no law in Liberia called criminal libel. That law has been repealed by the KAK Act. When somebody says violation of
Yeah.
privacy, what is violation of privacy? When you, sorry, when you
You wasn't in
publish,
your room now.
yeah, when you publish your own photo on
Your own
Facebook,
photo you publishing.
your own photo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook is not a private medium. No.
It's not a private place, a public
So
place.
yeah, so in the end, when we took a position on it, we were due to appear in court with the journalists. For those journalists, yes, they are members of the PEL, but they are not in good standing. They've not registered. They've not paid their dues.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine that. Vivian, you know what happened? Our lawyers were charging us between 500 to 700. And this radio station that I'm talking about, where the journalists are working, the person who owns the radio station is a top politician, a senator at our rate, or former speaker. So
I know.
yeah, we we went to the president and said, look, the president itself is financially constrained, and
Oh,
normally, yeah, we can pay for advocacy in terms of legal representation, of these journalists. But now we are stranded too financially. I mean, so the lawyers are charging up 500 to 700. They can constitute a delegation from Morovia to go and plead behalf of the
no,
journalists who are due to appear
but
on so date.
but president
Yes,
man,
but
the president man said wrong.
guess what? The
And
person
no
the
wrong,
person
president.
told
First,
us,
you have the man supposed to be at the top when it comes to yellow registration or yellow due payment.
Person,
yeah,
He
that's
not
true.
supposed
That's
to be
true.
at the top.
even in actually panel law, that panel law, it talks about even a registered story do not even indict somebody. So your story, like what I've said before, it should be clear. But multiple arrest story based on our investigation, what kind of thing can go on? The person are being indicted and the person is guilty. You just make judgment.
No, no, that was not the
Okay.
situation with these journalists, right? They quoted exactly what the court order. The court ordered the arrest of
And then,
somebody, and this person is known in the community. So by using the picture, so the person sued them to another court. But in the end, the crux of the story is that this person who owns a radio station said, oh, he was going to send, he was going to send a lawyer to go and represent the journalist, and fortunately, that person went, but unfortunately, the person was conflicted. So the court threw the person out, and then the journalists are sitting on prisoners in the bench in the court. The court said, but the person, our chief said, the person is not, allowed to practice, to defend us. So what should we do? So you see, that's why we can tell you, pay your dues, right? Pay your registration fees so that the president can be able to defend you. In the end, that case was settled out of court because of our advocacy, and because the charge of criminal libel does not exist. Violation of privacy in this instant case, it does not apply. And similar thing happened in River State with Eric Opadoi and Methuselah Gay. As Antonia Law Bruce Boy, who was appointed recently as a disciplinary magistrate. Bruce had to sacrifice for the union. Each time Bruce of going to River says he went, I think, 3 to 4 times on behalf of the PUL. We spent close to $500. So imagine you are not registered, right? You're not paying dues. Then the president spending that money on you. So you see, these are some of the things that the president, is doing. We have to be members of the organization. So yes, when people are urging us, let's be members of the association. It is very, very important because anything that happens to you, you come to the PUL, whether you are a member or not. And the press union is there to defend freedom of speech and expression, to defend the rights of the media, to defend the rights of journalists. That we cannot run away from it. Whether you are a member or not, once something happens and we identify you as a professional person or as somebody who is practicing journalism, we will advocate. We will provide that legal protection for you.
So, Cecilia, before you come in, I just, as a guest, I just want to ask the president one question. So, with all of the shortcomings that the press union have currently as we speak, in terms of professionalism and being very ethical in your fields, so what measure is the president is actually putting in place to be able to or mitigate some of the challenges in terms of people who are not following the rules and regulations, in terms of findings on people, in terms of rules and regulations being published. Because even the police now, they are saying in terms of laws making the community, they find measures. It is legal. So I think the president can do similar. So what measure is the PA putting into place to be able to mitigate some of these challenges?
But the press union is not a police entity, right? Or law enforcement body. No. The press union is a self-regulatory body. And for us, we believe that when you air, for example, as a journalist, the first thing you need to do is to retract the story, right? You publish the correct story and you apologize. So, like I said, the 27 cases we've been looking into, we found that some journalists were in breach of ethics. And what we did, so the committee recommended that they do an apology. And right before the people apology was done. So it is important that when you ethically transgress, right? It is important that you apologize to the person and do the right correction, which is very, very critical. So yes, the press, in terms of handling that stuff, it's about capacity building, right? Capacity building is very, very essential because it is through capacity building that they can be able to understand. I will not say that majority of members of the PU are violating ethics. If that were the case, then there will be a crisis in journalism in Liberia. But it is just a small number, right? And and let's be clear, those who are violating ethics, they are experienced journalists, right? Experienced journalists do violate ethics because sometimes you fail to verify certain things. Imagine somebody said to us during the investigation by the National Media Council that the chair by veteran journalist Aaron Colley with a membership comprising Thomas Slaughter Brown, Edwin Clark, the Office of the Ombudsman, the government ethical body is on that committee. It's a serious minded committee. You have civil society representation. You have women's group representation, the religious community, the government representation on the council. Guess what? Somebody appeared before the council and they were insisting that they still did, oh, they did not violate ethical stuff and what have you. In the end, the council said you violated. Guess what? The president said, oh, I did the story because I was angry. You had a mentor to me. How can you put anger in your story, right? And this is why we have kept saying that us as journalists, we have to be professional in our practice. So when the press union names and shames you, that stigma becomes on you. The press union also has the responsibility to fine you between 50 to 500 US dollars, right? To fine you when you ethically transgress, and to also expel you as a member of the union or as somebody who is not practicing journalism with professionalism. But if you expel Nathan from appearing on this platform, Nathan can go and open his own platform. So journalism is not police, you know, it's not something that you have, a police officer. And the press union is there to help with alternative dispute resolution, right? That's the mechanism. So if somebody else, or if you as a member of the public, you offend the right of a journalist, you come, you admit that yes, you offended the right, you apologize, we move on. We've had instances like that. I mean, there was a case, not this year, not last year, a journalist was manhandled by some, party loyalists. So we were escalating the matter to go to court. The journalist said after 2 weeks, they no, president, they just lead the team. The team we already settled it. When the president took a position, Yeah, so sometimes it can be challenging because even if you want to pursue a case, the person who has the case, they tell you that they don't want to go to court. What will you do? How will you go and defend somebody or prosecute another person when the person who has a case says no pressure on this regard? I mentioned the situation of Ellis Yomi in Nimba, right? So yes, ethics are the principles that guide us, the rules, right? Those norms that guide us. So if there is a violation, what we do is to investigate. You complain first. The Supreme Court has been accusing people, right? In this country, for the number of cases, then almost every day the court will be overwhelmed. But you as a citizen, whenever somebody who is a journalist, the person you believe strongly that the person has committed an ethical breach, what you do is that you file a complaint. We will investigate it.
I think your network is bad. I think your
Oh, the
network, but
network,
basically, yeah,
network.
I was just
It-
I was just able to do a follow up to what the president was saying because I used the case study because for every institution there should be rules and regulation in terms of guidelines, your do's and don't. So maybe the follow up question could have been whether they have some hindrances to the operation in terms of, like bro, everything we do in the country you have to do a budgetary support. So once the support is not there, there are many things that you ought to do you cannot do because you
like
have lapses.
additional to do. Yeah.
Yes, you have
Yes.
lapses. But basically, to be honest with you, or sis with you, honestly speaking, the president is the ultimate body that control all institutions. Maybe another follow-up question could have been a recent time the Ministry of Information Cultural Affairs now they started tourism from there. I'm very sure you follow that process. And now they have a new
Yeah.
body. So who govern that body? Is it the Ministry of Information Cultural Affairs that is
Which
the
body?
Mika Press
No,
reporter?
it's strictly no. The tourism
Yes,
is an institution all by itself now.
no, I'm saying the Ministry of Information. They
Uh-huh.
they normally have the press briefing, so they have
Oh yes, they do.
yes, so they have a body that's exclusive. They
They
have
got public
they got
affairs. Yeah, they got public affairs
so they
office.
have recently. Yes, recently they had an election. They said Mika press reporter. So I want to ask, what is
Oh,
he
okay.
aware of that?
Yeah. You see,
Yeah.
reporter
So honestly,
association. You see, legislative
yeah,
reporter,
reporter association. So
executive
I
marshal,
want to ask, what is
executive marshal
one of
reporter.
the president of
So it's
Liberia?
like they are all journalists on the president, like, bro. They are assigned to the Ministry of Information,
To the Ministry of
right?
Government Affairs, but
So
now they are having their
yes, they are
own
assigned
leadership.
there. Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
leadership is
So
only
my
to
point here
govern
is,
them so that
uh-huh.
they can be working together as a team and they can go out of order when they get to the
Yes,
press conferences at the
to the
Ministry of
president. That's
Information.
all.
They don't have any external stuff. But it's just a leadership to govern that group of people who are assigned there so that just in case if a ministry wants to do business or select people amongst them to go maybe out of town to talk
So they
with the
can reach out to
president
them. So
and stuff, so they will reach out legally, yeah, so that there can be some, standard. That's why they are all there. So only people who are assigned there can be eligible to go on programs that concerns that ministry. And the same thing with the executive marshal. So the executive
okay,
marshal
so yeah,
press,
so
and
yeah, I
yeah,
just hope and
they
pray
go
that I just hope and
around.
pray that the media will
Yeah,
have
it's not a
exclusive
difficult.
right to guard them. That's my point
Yeah,
because I
and
don't want
yeah,
to be
they are
politically
all members of
motivated.
PEL from different media
Yeah.
institutions. They are from different media institutions. They are all assigned at the ministry. The same way it's like at the Capitol building. They are all from different
Yes,
media
yes, yes,
institutions,
yes,
but they are
yes.
assigned at the Capitol building. That is it. And then the last thing I wanted the president to elaborate on was his statement. The statement he made, he mentioned it there. I just wanted him to close with that statement or the press conference that he had at that time. And when you talk about, he's now talking about you must be responsible or liable for what you say, but that should be in court. I wanted because it was right after the Yeke Koruba's expulsion that the PL through the president came out with that statement. I just wanted to know whether he is he trying to say that the legislature was wrong for for the expulsion, or they should have sent Yeke to court what means for him to be responsible for his statement. That's why I wanted him to close on. So I was just waiting to come with that closing point.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it is true. It is.
this is what it is.
But that era,
Liberia
that
and this
yeah,
network issue is a serious problem. Probably this
yeah,
network
yeah.
drop
My cell don't start
and
keep dropping all that stuff, but it's okay, it's okay. But
uh,
that house
no star is not too
legislator,
strong tonight.
yeah, it's a whole political terrain. So people believe that they got their own rules in terms of operational. So they believe that they are the first branch of government, and nothing goes on over there. It is so biblical. Everything that goes on in our house is political. It is very political. They got their own rules that govern them, that all that govern them. So I believe
Hmm.
that whatsoever thing they do on that side, they handle it at a level. It's a political theater all by itself. Every decision I've been made, whether it's political. So they will make decision of being your best interest. Once they believe that they get the opportunity, I think one mistake that I will always say, that's why education, whether primary, secondary, or tertiary, education in totality is very important. In a sense where you went to a political hall and then they call you for a conference. In their mind, they believe that it is due process. Even if you went with a preconceived mind that your lawyer going to speak for you, but you being in your house, there's a room for appeal, there's a room for extension, there's a room for what, or suspension or other things. Since the post notice that you don't have the charisma or the ability to even answer your own question well, but it depends on your lawyer, the two you say the lawyer cannot speak for you. There's a political hall. We are giving you due process. There's a committee call you for due process. Tell us exactly what you want to say. As a lawmaker, you don't understand how to even appeal. You say, oh, on the basis of this, I want to take an appeal that you reach out to me so I can interact with my lawyer and advise me what to say because they cannot speak here now. But because the lawyer cannot speak and say you're working out, I think it was a slap in the face of the committee. Everywhere, even if I would be on a committee, my report I will write from there would be very nasty more than ever before. That's the essence of education.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yes.
Okay, so folks,
Yeah.
we want to say thank you for tonight. Thanks to the president of the president of Liberia. It was a wonderful time here in our studio. Thank you for making time to come over to talk about the Red World Press Freedom Day, its celebration, and what you have fired the PL since its revamping or since the president Cornwall took over after he's been. It is important for us to know on this platform that will soon be a member of the PUL, and we are already a legal body to operate
And what
in
else I could be
Liberia
about
as a
for the
serious
headquarters?
media group. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we are a serious media group, and that's why we thought to bring the president of PEO. And thanks that he did not let us down. He didn't call us new entity, or he did not see the fact
Oh yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that I am a member of the president of Liberia. He honored that invitation at that level. So we thank you, and also to you, Diego. We want to thank you for coming up as guest presenter on the show. Monday is our next edition right here, and we'll be talking to some uh, rights group about ongoing crisis or ongoing issues, and several other issues in the country. And we come 23 minutes after 10 o'clock, and it's time for us to say goodbye on tonight's edition of Inside Liberia on Samtra TV. Vivian Kog is my name. Thank you to our studio coordinator, Leon Twazama, for being right there into the entire crew here at Samtra TV. Thank you. Tomorrow is another fascinating program. The Power of Hall comes on 9 p.m. With your host, the Reverend Mother Horizontal Grams. And then that will be followed by our youth program prime time Friday, Saturday is the leadership dialogue, and our Sunday religious program. We are getting there. Samtra TV, Samtra Communications. We thank you for listening, for watching, share our videos, um, join us. We appreciate you at all time. We like to say have a wonderful, wonderful evening and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Central TV.
I love to